Hold on just a moment.
Before you instinctively shoo your feline companion off your cherished chair once more, perhaps it would be wise to pause and contemplate the situation from their unique perspective. For you, it represents reclaiming your rightful and deserved spot after a long and arduous day. But for your beloved cat, it could very well feel like an act of bewildering and inexplicable betrayal. Does that strike you as a bit overly dramatic? Perhaps it does. But this quiet, almost imperceptible daily struggle for territory, playing out in literally millions of living rooms across the entire globe, is actually much more than just a cute and amusing domestic scene. It represents a head-on collision, a direct confrontation between two distinct civilizations, the human and the feline, each operating according to its own distinct and separate set of rules and regulations. We humans often think we are simply and politely asking them to move over a little bit. They, on the other hand, perceive the most important, the most reliable, and the most consistent ally in their entire life, their primary source of warmth, of food, and of overall security, suddenly and unexpectedly transforming into a potential threat, displacing them from their cherished island of stability and comfort. In this invisible and often silent war, much more is at stake than simply the right to occupy a soft and cozy blanket. What is truly on the line, what is truly at risk, is trust itself. A fragile and delicate currency that is very easily lost and almost impossibly difficult, if not entirely impossible, to regain. So, what really goes on inside a cat's complex and mysterious head when we disrupt their peace and tranquility? Let us explore in more detail why what seems like a completely harmless act to us, a simple request, can permanently damage your relationship with your cherished and beloved pet. To truly understand feline logic, we need to consciously abandon human concepts such as ownership or possession. When a cat gracefully jumps onto your sofa, it is definitely not trying to claim it in any way. It is doing something far more crucial and essential to its well-being, expanding its security map. Imagine, if you will, a world where you navigate primarily by scent, rather than by sight. For a cat, your entire home is an intricate and complex, multi-layered map composed of a vast array of aromas. And the most important and significant markers on that map are its own. When a cat rubs its cheeks or flanks affectionately against a table leg, the corner of the sofa, or even your own legs, it is not just being affectionate and loving. It is actively marking its territory. Special glands located on their face, paws, and tail secrete pheromones, unique chemical signatures that are completely invisible to us humans but crystal clear and easily discernible to them. Each and every one of these markings is a message carefully left for itself: I was here. It's safe here. This is my territory. These scents collectively create a bubble of confidence and security. The sofa, the chair, the rug, these are not just mere pieces of furniture. They are strategic outposts, strongholds that are infused with its personal scent of tranquility and peace. Now, picture the scenario: you pick up your unsuspecting cat and banish it from its safe island. In its world, this is the equivalent of someone suddenly erasing key landmarks from your navigation map in the middle of an unfamiliar city. You are not just simply asking it to move, you are, in effect, destroying its sense of stability and predictability. You are not invading its property in the human sense, but rather its personal security system, making the animal feel vulnerable and exposed in a place where it should rightfully feel protected, safe, and secure. If the armchair is the very center of a safe and secure territory, then the doorway of a room is its boundary, its customs checkpoint, if you will. And here, another drama of misunderstanding and misinterpretation unfolds. You have probably experienced this phenomenon. A cat approaches a doorway and freezes completely. It simply stands or sits, gazing thoughtfully and intently into the void, effectively and seemingly deliberately blocking the passage. The first thought that inevitably crosses a human's mind is, it's spacing out again. Did it forget where it was going? Or is it just deliberately doing this to annoy me and test my patience? But there is absolutely no laziness or spite involved in this behavior. What we are actually witnessing is a highly trained security specialist diligently at work. For a cat, a doorway is much more than just a simple transition from one room to another. It is a boundary between familiar, vetted territory and a new space that needs to be carefully assessed and evaluated. By pausing ever so slightly at the doorway, the feline creature initiates a complex and nuanced scanning process. Its delicate ears act much like a sophisticated radar system, meticulously picking up even the slightest rustle or murmur emanating from the unknown expanse of the new room. Its sensitive nose diligently analyzes the subtle air currents for any unfamiliar or potentially alarming scents that might linger within the space. Its keen eyes carefully evaluate the overall surroundings, diligently searching for any sign of movement and identifying potential hiding places should the need arise. Essentially, the The cat is conducting a rapid and thorough risk assessment before even considering venturing into what it perceives as uncharted territory. This is an ancient and deeply ingrained instinct, one that helped its wild ancestors survive in a harsh and unforgiving world by diligently avoiding encounters with larger and more dangerous predators. And what do we, in our often hurried human way, do? We often try to nudge it forward with our foot, or even impatiently attempt to push it bodily through the doorway, thereby completely disrupting this sacred and essential ritual. For the cat, this thoughtless action is akin to someone rudely shoving a highly trained bomb disposal expert, who is carefully listening for the telltale ticking of a hidden mechanism, forward with the dismissive and insensitive words, "Just go already." We are not simply inconveniencing it, we are forcibly pushing it into a space that its brain has not yet had the opportunity to assess and mark as safe, and in doing so, we ourselves become a source of stress and unpredictability in its otherwise carefully ordered world. Now that we understand that the seemingly innocuous sofa is, in reality, a meticulously constructed security map and the doorway functions as a critical border patrol checkpoint, let us consider putting these two essential elements together. What precisely goes on in a cat's mind when we, its primary benefactor and supposed protector, repeatedly violate these invisible but profoundly important rules? Cats, unlike humans, do not think in terms of complex morality. They have absolutely no concept of fairness or right in the way that we understand these abstract notions. Their world is built on a simpler, more fundamental principle: consistency and predictability. The owner, in their feline universe, is the undisputed center of their existence. It is the being that is most closely associated with the most positive and desirable things in their lives: food, warmth, safety, and affection. A human is, in essence, a living beacon that signals to the cat that everything is as it should be and that all is well. And now, this very beacon, the source of all that is good and predictable, starts behaving irrationally and inexplicably. The being that should be protecting them from harm becomes, instead, a source of threat and anxiety. It rudely kicks them off their carefully marked and defended, safe territory. It forcibly pushes them beyond unassessed and potentially dangerous boundaries. In the logical framework of the feline mind, this represents a catastrophic system failure. The main guarantor of stability and predictability becomes, suddenly, unpredictable and unreliable. Today, it is gently petting them and offering comforting words. Tomorrow, it is displacing them from their favorite spot. Today, it is feeding them a delicious meal. Tomorrow, it is causing them stress and anxiety. This inconsistency destroys the basic trust that is the foundation of their relationship. The animal no longer understands what to expect from us, the beings it relies on for survival. This is what we, in human terms, might call betrayal in their language. It does not think, "My owner is bad." Instead, it thinks, "The world around me has become chaotic and dangerous, and the source of this danger is the very one I trusted most." As a direct result of this perceived betrayal, the cat might start avoiding us, hiding away in secluded spots, exhibiting aggression, or showing signs of persistent anxiety. It is not seeking revenge for the perceived wrong. It is simply trying to survive in a world that has suddenly ceased to be understandable and safe for it. So we have now firmly established that using force or coercion in our interactions with cats ultimately destroys the fragile bond of trust. But what do you do if you really and truly need to sit in your chair, which is currently occupied by your feline companion? The answer is remarkably simple. Instead of resorting to the language of force, we need to master the art of feline diplomacy. Your ultimate goal is not to drive the animal away from its chosen spot, but rather to subtly and gently influence it to want to leave on its own, and to do so happily and without any feelings of resentment. This is actually easier to achieve than it sounds. Here are a few proven diplomatic techniques that you can employ to achieve a peaceful and mutually beneficial resolution to this common domestic dilemma, an offer they simply cannot refuse. This is the key guiding principle of feline diplomacy. If you absolutely need a specific spot that your cat is currently occupying, make another spot even more appealing and irresistible. Prepare a plan B in advance. Place a soft and luxurious blanket that your cat particularly loves on the sofa right next to your chair, or perhaps bring in its absolute favorite cardboard box, which it views as the ultimate sanctuary. Then, instead of shooing it away from its current location, call it gently and show it the new, carefully prepared spot. You can even use a tempting lure, such as a favorite treat or a cherished toy. The message that the cat receives changes dramatically. I'm not being evicted from a comfortable spot, I'm being invited to an even better place, one that is specifically designed for my comfort and enjoyment. My human truly cares about me and my well-being. Creating a positive ritual. Felines, those enigmatic creatures that share our homes, respond remarkably well to training methodologies centered around positive reinforcement techniques. A key element in this approach is the development of a clear and consistent conditional signal, meticulously designed to encourage the cat to gracefully vacate a chosen spot. This signal could manifest as a subtle snap of the fingers, or perhaps a quietly spoken word, such as place or even a gentle come here. The most vital aspect of this signal is unwavering consistency. It must remain identical each and every time it is employed. Imagine, for instance, delivering the chosen signal, simultaneously pointing towards the alternative, more desirable location. The moment the cat complies with the request, it is absolutely crucial to immediately reward the cooperative feline with enthusiastic praise, gentle petting, or perhaps a delectable treat. Over time, the animal will begin to associate the sound not with the unpleasant stress of being evicted from its comfortable perch, but rather with a pleasant and predictable ritual, heralding the imminent arrival of affection and pleasure. Both of these carefully considered methods ultimately pursue the same overarching goal: to skillfully transform a potentially contentious conflict into a positive and enriching interaction. You, the human companion, cease to be perceived as an unpredictable and somewhat arbitrary force of nature in the cat's world, and instead evolve into an understandable and honest partner, a being with whom the cat can always reason and negotiate. Ultimately, the seemingly simple story of the cat and the armchair transcends the boundaries of a mere lesson in animal psychology. It blossoms into a powerful and profound metaphor for the very nature of our relationship with the entire world that surrounds us. We as humans are so accustomed to thinking of ourselves as owners and masters, not only within the confines of our own homes, but also across the vast expanse of the entire planet. We often act solely based on our own convenience and desires, frequently without pausing to consider the potential impact of our actions on those who are weaker, those who are less powerful, and those who are unable to articulate their disagreement or discomfort in words that we readily understand. The cat comfortably ensconced in the chair serves as a small, furry, and constant reminder that the world does not, in fact, revolve solely around us. Understanding its invisible boundaries, respecting its established rituals, and learning to interpret its unique language are all essential steps towards achieving a fundamental paradigm shift in our thinking. It is a step away from the entrenched mindset of an owner who believes they can afford to do anything they please, and towards the more enlightened mindset of a neighbor who is wise, attentive, and genuinely empathetic. By learning to negotiate with a cat, rather than simply issuing commands, we cultivate a quality that humanity needs more urgently and profoundly than ever before: the invaluable ability to see the world through the eyes of another being, to truly understand their perspective. In doing so, we become not just better and more responsible owners to our beloved pets, we become better people, more compassionate and understanding individuals. And then, our home, the place where we reside, transforms into something far more significant than just a mere apartment or a house. It evolves into a space of true trust and harmony, a sanctuary where both human and feline feel not like object and owner, but like cherished members of one interconnected family, living together in a shared, safe, and genuinely happy territory.